Commissioner Jimenez? Commissioner Jimenez?
Here.
Commissioner Lopez?
Here.
Vice Chair Shively?
Here.
Chair Hammond?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, she's not here. So here we have a pledge of allegiance led by Commissioner Jimenez.
Please stand. Right hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. There are no presentations in item 4, so we'll move on to consent calendar. Approval of the Planning Commission minutes from February 18, 2026 meeting. Are there any corrections, deletions, additions? Okay. I guess none from Jay. Okay. At this time, we will open up for public comment on the consent calendar. If anyone would like to have a public comment on the item of approval of Planning Commission minutes, is welcome to come forward to the podium and address the Planning Commission. Seeing none, we close the public comments and bring it back for a motion for approval.
Yes.
Commissioner
Mhm.
Lopez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Shively?
Yes.
Chair Hammond?
Yes.
With a vote for and 1 absent, this motion is approved.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. At this time, we move on to item 6A. Item 6A is a conditional use permit, 24-05060, and development plan review 24-00001. Continued off calendar from the January 7, 2026 meeting. Soda. A proposal to consider the following entitlements to facilitate a commercial development project on a triangular-shaped 10.64-acre site surrounded by Case Road, Getz Road, and Ellis Avenue in the Employment Plaza designation of the Paris Downtown Specific Plan. Number 1, conditional use permit to allow a 138,672 square foot self-storage facility, a 5,974 square foot convenience store beyond Food Mart, with a drive-through and an auxiliary vehicle fueling station, and a 1,667 square foot automated car wash. And number 2, development plan review for the review of the site plan and building elevations for the commercial development. Obviously, the applicant is Marwan Alabasi, and it's to be brought to us by Matthew Evans, contract planner. The requested action is to adopt Resolution 26-01, adopting mitigated negative declaration number 2407, and a mitigation monitoring and reporting program, and approve conditional use permit 24-05060, and development plan review 24-00001, to facilitate the construction of a 138,672 square foot self-storage facility and a 5,974 square foot convenience store beyond Food Mart with a drive-through and an auxiliary vehicle fueling station and a 1,667 square foot automated car wash. Based on the findings contained herein, subject to conditions of approval, is an ex parte communication, ad hoc committee meetings, and or site visits. We want to report now.
I've seen this project during ad hoc.
I drive by the site daily.
Yep, I drive by the site and was ad hoc as well.
Okay, and I drive by the site quite a few times, over 30 years. Okay, at this time, Matthew, would you please bring, I want to introduce some items. I'll do it for you. We have a comment letters regarding the Getz and Case Road Beyond Food Mart and self-storage. And bear with me for a little while. I'll just do it for you, make it easier for you. Letter from Riverside County Fire Department, February 27, 2026. Letter from Patrick Conister, representing the Paris Valley Airport, February 27, 2026. Letter from Federal Aviation Administration ensuing a determination of no hazard to air navigation to the self-storage facility, site dated March 4, 2026. And letter from the Federal Aviation Administration issuing a determination of no hazard to air navigation to the Beyond Food Mart site dated March 4, 2026. We have copies of the letters here dated today from CAL FIRE, Riverside County. I'm not going to go into what they said about it, but it was regarding Case and Getz self-storage dated February 26, 2026. So that's one letter with accompanying documents. Another letter that was submitted to Mr. Alabasi from Signature Control, Julie Morgan, Manager, Obstruction Evaluation Group. And I'm not sure, I think Federal Aviation Administration, I believe that was there. I didn't go into more detail from there, but I'm just showing you what we have for the record more than anything else. And again, the same area from the Federal Aviation Administration, Southwest Regional Office. And I believe that was it. Okay. And so these are all documented on file and can be read by anyone. It's a matter of public record. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, Chair Hammond. Thank you for that introduction. Matthew Evans, project planner for the Getz, Case, and Ellis Beyond Food Mart and Self-Storage project. So just for a little bit of background, the project was continued, as mentioned previously, from that January 7th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting, and that was to allow both the applicant and staff to address concerns raised by Caltrans Division of Aeronautics. Caltrans had raised concerns regarding the proximity of the proposed fueling station and self-storage facility to the end of the Paris Valley Airport runway. Caltrans ultimately concluded that land use authority rests with the city of Paris. As of today, the FAA has determined that the project presents no hazards to air navigation. So here you have the aerial map. This is east of Getz Road between Case and Ellis Avenue, or Case Road and Ellis Avenue. Surrounding uses to the north, you have vacant and industrial. To the south, you have the Paris Valley Airport and vacant land. To the east, you have vacant land and industrial land. And to the west, you have the Hunt Club Apartments. Those are attached residential units. So here is a site photo. This is a view from the north, looking north from Ellis Avenue of the site. This is an east view from Getz Road. This is a south view from the intersection at Case Road and Getz. And this is a view from Case Road at G Street. This is looking westward. So the zoning for the project site is located in the downtown employment plaza. It's 10.64 acres. Surrounding zones, you have downtown specific plan employment plaza to the north and to the east. And to the west, you have downtown specific plan neighborhood, and to the south, you have light industrial and public. So here you have the Paris Valley Airport map, the airport zone. The project is located within zones B1, C, and D of the Paris Valley ALUCP. The B1 zone is subject to density limitations that restrict occupancy to no more than 40 people per acre with a maximum of 80 people per acre. Zone C and D are subject to density limitations that restrict occupancy to no more than 50 to 450 people per acre. The downtown specific plan is consistent with the Paris Valley ALUCP. ALUC did review the project and found it to be conditionally consistent with the Paris Valley Airport ALUCP, subject to meeting FAA requirements, which it has now. Here's your overall site plan. Again, this is 10.64 acres. It includes a 5,974 square foot convenience store, which is branded as a Beyond Food Mart. It also contains a 1,667 square foot automated car wash in the back of the building. And then for the self-storage facility, you have 7 buildings totaling 138,672 square feet. So here's the access plan. As you can see here, you have 1 signalized intersection, 2 proposed signalized intersections. There's actually a signalized intersection at G Street as well, but that doesn't affect the project, so it's not shown here. You have one driveway with right-in, right-out, and left-in access off of Ellis Avenue. And then you have 3 limited access driveways that are right-in, right-out only. Wall and fence plan, as you can see here, for the areas that are not building adjacent to side yard setbacks, you have a 6-foot-tall block wall in the areas in red, and the areas in green, that is a 6-foot-high tube steel fencing. All decorative, of course. So for the site plan for Beyond Mart, you have a drive-through for 14 vehicles. There is no indoor seating or dining per ALUC. You have that car wash I mentioned. It's 1,667 square feet. Has 5 vacuum parking spaces. You have a 5,000 approximately square foot fuel island canopy with 8 fueling islands and 16 dispensers. Approximately 1,000 square foot diesel fuel island canopy with 2 islands and 4 dispensers. 34 total parking spaces. You have 21 regular, 7 EV, 1 EV that's an ADA van accessible, and 3 ADA parking spaces. There's also a trash enclosure that is located directly in back of the convenience store, adjacent to the wall at the self-storage facility, or close to it, I should say. So for the self-storage facility, again, you have 7 buildings totaling 138,672,000 square feet. You have 2 2.5-story buildings, 5 1-story buildings. You have a 1,222 square foot office, a 1,217 square foot caretaker unit, 8 parking spaces, including 3 ADA and 2 EV charging spaces, 45 RV parking for storage, and that's limited to RV only. Trash enclosure with a 10-foot tall decorative block structure and metal roof. Main entrance at Ellis Avenue with secondary RV access and fire access at Getz Road. And just for reference, Building 1 is a partial 2-story building, but it's mostly a 1-story building. Conceptual landscape plan, you have a proposed landscaped area for the entire site of 79,538 square feet. That's roughly 21.5% of landscaping. I did mention in the staff report that there is no landscaping minimum requirement in the downtown specific plan, but it'd probably blow anything that we had in their way, so it's good to know. We have 158 trees provided, approximately 60 street trees provided. 30% of all trees are 36-inch box as conditioned. Trees at all entrances will be 36-inch box as conditioned. For the renderings, so here you have the Beyond Food Mart. You have 2 elevations. East view, south from Getz Road, and then south view, Case Road at Getz Road intersection. Here are some additional renderings for you. You have the car wash, the canopy. So for the building elevations, this is Beyond Mart. This is the facade elevation from Getz at Case intersection. And then you have the west view, which is the side elevation from Case Road. This is where the drive-through and car wash would be. North view, rear elevation. This is your view from the drive-through essentially because you have that car wash that's blocking most of this view. And then you have the east view, which is the side elevation from Getz Road. So back to renderings for the self-storage facility. Here you have the main entrance. This is the north view from Ellis Avenue. You have the east view of the self-storage. This is the interior, and then the north view from Ellis Avenue entrance. As you can see there, there's that decorative tube steel fence I mentioned earlier at the driveway. So this is the first rendering you see is the west view from Case Road, and you have a little bit of tube steel there between the 2 buildings. The southwest entrance from Beyond Mart parking lot adjacent to Case Road on the second rendering. Building elevations, this is the north elevation. You have elevations for both sides of the building, as well as the Building 1 elevation, that's the east elevation, and Building 1 west elevation. And as you can see here, you have the site plan. You have the red arrow that's pointed to the actual building that you're looking at. So again, building elevations is Building 5, Getz Road elevation. You have the adjacent, road adjacent elevation, the interior elevation, and then the side elevations. And again, you can see where at on the site plan this is. Building 6 north, this is the Case Road elevation that you can see here at the first slide. Interior elevation, and then your side elevations. This is Building 7. This is Ellis Avenue at Case Road elevation. This elevation is facing that corner, and then in front of this is where you would have some landscaping and the WQMP. And this is that view again. It just shows you where you're looking at here. Actually, this is the Ellis at Getz Road elevation, not the elevation that you were just looking at. So, and this is that 6-foot tall wall. You have the north elevation. This is the elevation that you would see from beyond Food Mart and Case Road. That south elevation, east elevation, and southwest elevation. And I'm sorry, these are all building elevations for the walls and fences that you see here. So again, there's that combination of tube steel and decorative block. Public comment letters, as noted, we received 6 in total comment letters prior to this meeting, 2 from Caltrans, and as noted in the staff report, they raised concerns to proximity to the Paris Valley Airport. Staff has since met with the Aeronautics Division and concluded that the land use authority lies with the city. Riverside County, we received 1 letter from Riverside County stating that while the project will have impacts to fire services, those impacts will be mitigated through the city's development impact fees collections prior to the issuance of building permits. Airport operator, as noted, gave us a letter acknowledging the concerns expressed by the Caltrans in their previous letters, as well as public safety associated with the end of the runway south of the project site, which is being addressed with the Ellis Avenue expansion project. And last, we received 2 federal aviation admission letters from today. These letters it stated that there was a determination of no hazard to air navigation, and these were sent to the applicant and forwarded to us. Environmental determination, a mitigated negative declaration was prepared for this project. The M&D was prepared in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA guidelines. The M&D concluded that there was all impacts have been reduced to less or less than significant or have been reduced to below the significant level with the implementation of mitigation measures. Only 1 comment letter was received during that review period. That letter was from Caltrans, and it was mostly informational. Recommendation, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 26-01, adopting mitigated negative declaration number 2407, and the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, and approving conditional use permit 24-05060 and development plan review 24-00001, based on the findings contained in the resolution and subject to conditions of approval. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And at this time,
Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission, I would like to make a modification and read it into the record for condition of, planning condition number 46, to require assessment and community facilities districts to be triggered prior to grading permit issuance or building permit issuance or recordation of final map, whichever occurs first.
that was number 46.
Number
Okay,
46
let's see.
of the planning conditions, and this will be to be consistent with the engineering conditions.
Okay. Glad you did that, because I had a question about 46D. North Paris.
Is that incorrect?
I'm sorry, out there, North Paris Community Facilities District. I'm just wondering, is that the South Paris
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
See, we do read this,
If we
right?
can just say Paris.
Okay.
Thank
It's
you.
Paris? Okay. It's probably just better to just say Paris, the attributable legal language. Because they're gonna have to pay for it anyway, so it doesn't, okay. Yeah, I just happened to catch that. Normally I wouldn't, but, okay.
And then one more thing from an engineering side, just to be consistent with the PowerPoints. Ellis Avenue, our condition is for full access off of that driveway. I know the slide showed left in only. Our conditions call for full access.
Which number was that, Brad?
We have in our engineering conditions 5C.
Okay.
And we're not making any changes to our engineering conditions. I'm just, based off the PowerPoint, it was showing a left in only. We're calling for full access.
Oh, full access, okay. Okay, at this time, we'll pick up as we start asking questions. At this time, does the applicant, I know you do, have a presentation for us or anything you'd like to say? Just state your name, we know who you are, but, you know, for the record, anyway.
Marwan Alabasi, the applicant. Good evening, Commissioner, Planning Commission, staff. First of all, thank you for allowing us to bring this project finally to Planning Commission. It's been a long journey. I think we acquired this land back in 18 or 19, and it's been going back and forth for the last 3-4 years with several options, starting with a warehouse to residential and we finally really ended up with this is just about the only thing that we can build. But before I go, real quick introduction. I have my wife, Elizabeth, my son, Ramsey, and Corinne, who's done a lot of work in this. And I want to introduce these 3 little guys here. They're the audience, because I noticed there's nobody coming. Last meeting, I said, let me bring the grandkids. I have 4 grandsons. One couldn't make it. The first one, Marwan, he's named after me, but he has a center in Menifee. The middle one is Alexander. He has one in Hemet. So this second youngest grandson, he goes, what about me? So we named the center after him. His name is Mazen, and the name Mazoune actually is derived from Mazen. So he's very excited. He keeps asking me, is that all mine? Is that all mine? I said, yeah, that's yours. So say hi, Mazen.
You gonna make a presentation, Ethan? No.
These will be the future. I already done training my son Ramsey. You saw him last time. These are the future guys that'll be here. This is just to show that we are here to stay. Our family is very involved in Paris, and we love working here. And I really want to give special thanks to planning staff and engineering, Matthew, for working with us. We had several meetings with them, with ad hoc, and we accommodated just about everything we could do. We had a lot of restrictions from ALUC. They absolutely killed us. Actually, a lot of the leaders in Paris were disappointed in us removing the restaurant. We have a new franchise that we developed called Smash Burger. We have one in Menifee. And Papa Smash. We had it inside. We ended up deleting it because ALUC will not allow us to have seating. Their assumption is going to be like 300 people at the center at once. They use maximum worst-case scenario in case of a crash. So we ended up eliminating that, but we did not want to get rid of the drive-through. We will be serving food. If any of you have been to Beyond Marts, we have food, fresh fruit, orange juices, burgers, wings. So there'll be food, but no sit-down, no dining. But the drive-through is left. If there's a mom or somebody coming in with their pajamas in the morning, they could just go in and grab whatever they need. The self-storage, we also, based on the recommendation from the last project we brought to you, which we're going to start going into plan check soon, we decided to have, I think, Commissioner Menez, you mentioned that, a business center. So we're going to add that also in here. We'll have a business center inside the self-storage. The self-storage, there's 2 buildings will be climate control with air conditioning, so some people could run businesses out of them, just like we addressed the one in Ramon Expressway. So the project went through a lot of scrutiny, a lot of changes. Like I said, based on the use, this is the only thing we had. Finally, we got it this morning, the clearance from FAA. We're excited about the project. We're the public work contractor for the city doing the widening in Ellis, and we recently widened Getz a few years ago. So this will really improve that entire corner with the new signals and new truck route. And hopefully we'll get to open Ellis now, if some of you take that route. It's been closed for a while. That's all I have. If anybody have any question, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, you guys. You know, you might be sitting up here one. No, no. I'm old. Come on. Okay. Okay. I shouldn't say I'm old. Okay. This time, are there any questions? I should say questions by the developer and/or the city. I know I have a few, but I'm sure you do. So we'll start up here at the dais with Commissioner.
Thank you
Lopez.
so much for the presentation, Matt. My first question is in regards to the visibility of the buildings. I know building 2 and 3 are 2 stories. I wanted to know how much of that building is going to be visible through the street view.
Yeah, Commissioner Lopez, it's a great question. Let's take a look at the site plan here. So the two, let me go to the one where it breaks down. So here you have the site plan for the self-storage facility. You can see buildings 2 and 1 are the only 2-story buildings. They're actually contained internally in the project. So the only place that you would see potentially these 2 buildings driving along the street is from potentially Ellis Avenue or Case Road. As you can see from Getz Road, it's probably not very visible because it sits back so far. Here you have also, let me show if I can get back to the fence and wall plan here. So these 2 buildings, but actually the first floor of the building would essentially be screened from the street where you'd have that little peekaboo view as you were driving by. I know those are 1-story buildings, but I believe they are, let me get to the elevations here. We can take a look at those, see how tall they are. So I believe the 1-story buildings are, let me see here. Yeah, the 1-story buildings are about 14 feet tall. So from the areas that you would have even a peekaboo view of those 2 interior buildings, from these vantage points, you would have a 6-foot tall wall in the spots where you don't have buildings adjacent to the road. So you really only have two shots when you're driving by this project to catch a glimpse of the top story of those buildings.
So even with the 6-foot block wall, at the angle, you won't be able to see the 1-story buildings?
Well, you'll be able to see the 1-story buildings are actually adjacent to the roadway, so they actually act as a wall. So if we go back and look at, this is a good way to look at it. So this is a 1-story building. This is actually facing, Case Road, and you can kind of see from Case Road the very top of that 2-story building that's in the back.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, you kind of get a glimpse of it back there. And so from the parking lot, this is the perspective from the parking lot at the Beyond Mart. And so you're looking you're looking adjacent, that's a building adjacent to the interior of the Beyond Mart. So from this perspective, from the distance, you don't even get a peekaboo view of the top of those 2-story buildings. Let's see if there's any other, yeah, I think that's it. So yeah.
Just basically that right here, whatever we've seen right
So
here.
basically that right there, yeah.
Got you.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
yes.
I also wanted to know, I know there's an existing sidewalk on Getz Road. I wanted to ask the applicant if for the sidewalk that's gonna be put in on Case and Ellis, will you be willing to add a parkway, a landscape parkway, so moving the sidewalk closer to your project and having landscaping right on the edge of the street?
I'll have to check with engineering. I don't know if we have the real estate for that, but I'm okay with it if we have the real estate. I don't know the width, but there will be sidewalk around the entire property and landscape. So we'll chat with engineering. If there's room for it, definitely.
Okay, perfect. So that's something.
Matthew, could you do us a favor? Could you put up the overall site plan that might show that area, so we have a general idea, or IT, whoever has access, just to get a view of what that looks like. 'Cause I think it was the overall site plan. I don't know if the landscaping shows that, but I know the overall. Okay.
Yeah, so I basically just want to change the orientation of the landscaping, having the sidewalk and then the landscape towards the street or on the edge of the street.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I think the sidewalk is adjacent, right, Brad?
Yeah, right now the sidewalk is on the street.
Right, the whole Getz Road corridor, it's actually right up next to the curb and gutter, but that's something we could work with the applicant on and just move that sidewalk to the property line basically and have that little buffer with
Yeah,
landscape.
for
If
Case
it-
and Ellis, right?
Yeah, for Case and Ellis, what about Getz Road too?
I mean, I know there's an existing sidewalk. I don't know if they're gonna be replacing it. Is that
No,
what
the
you guys
one in
planning?
Getz is remaining.
Is remaining. Okay, yeah. So yeah, for Case and Ellis at least, those two would be perfect.
We'll work with engineering. If it's
Yeah.
doable, we'll be happy to do it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I have no further questions right now. Thank you.
I have a few more landscaping questions. Nothing bad, I promise. I do want to. You are like in compliance. You're way over. I know we have a no minimum, but the 21% I really appreciate. I was going through the plant list, and I know that again you're in compliance with the city's plant palette, but and so this is a question, but it's more of like a friendly ask. This location's really interesting because it's about a 1 mile north from a habitat conservation area, the San Jacinto watershed. I was curious if you would be amenable to possibly swapping some of the plants that you have that are non-natives to California natives, wherever it would be like functionally, aesthetically, and fiscally possible. Like I wouldn't want you to go crazy out of your way, but if it is possible to maybe work with staff to swap to some more California natives, would that be something you would be capable or interested in?
Absolutely. Just one issue, though. ALUC is very involved in the landscape because I know we had some restrictions in what we can and cannot use. But if it's possible, I'll be happy to add. Just don't give me names because I'm bad with landscape, but I'll accommodate for sure.
That's fine. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be happy to do it.
Thank you. And I have another question. Are you the proposed owner-operator of the self-storage facility?
Yes, we will be.
Okay.
And the
so-
gas station.
Okay. That's all the questions I have for right now, but thank you.
I was waiting for my architect extraordinaire, but I guess he's drawing some questions. Some overall discussion stuff from staff, I don't have a problem with it, but I think we did earlier, but I just wanted for the public record purposes. One thing too, CAL FIRE was rather interesting and saying there'd be a cumulative impact of this project. I can't even imagine what the cumulative impact would be, other than saying there's a gas station. So what would be the cumulative impact unless you talk about vehicles driving there to get gas? So that's a little comical to me that they would send something like this, then say, oh, they can contribute. So I just thought that was an interesting letter, unless there's something they know that I don't know, that you're going to have vehicles at a gas station, so you're going to have, unless you're talking 1,000 every hour, I mean, you don't have diesel trucks, you don't have hauler trucks, so I'm not sure what. Now, they are right in the sense that there'll be fire stations, but why would that be an issue here is a question. It's just a question mark for me that it would send almost 2 pages of that. One of the things, too, we probably would have to change, though, considering how we do on this one, is obviously the FAA has approved it lately, so we would probably, may or may not need to change with COA to say that in lieu of that it has been. So I don't know if that's something we should do. That's a legal question. That just take it out and just say not even have that there, because they have approved it. So do we need to have that in as a condition of approval at all to state there? Mm-hmm.
It's not a problem if it remains in there because it's been complied with, so it's kind of a moot point. But if you want to delete it, you can delete it.
Which number was that? Because that you did just get it. I know I saw it, I just don't remember what number.
It's condition number 6 in the planning conditions.
Okay, and that's the COA for, the COA, not the engineering. Okay. Okay, number 6, okay. Okay, since we have 2 letters here,
Since we haven't fully reviewed the letter, we should probably leave it in just in case. Because we don't know exactly what the letter says. We think, based on initial review, that it's been complied with. But since we haven't fully reviewed the letter and to confirm what it says, I think it's better just leave it in just in case.
okay, okay. Well, I know it's a big weight off. Okay, okay, I'm gonna go to the street movement, I'm not gonna spend all day, but it's important to have some questions. I'm picking on the engineer today like I usually do. You can leave now if you want. No. You sure you want me to bring it on? Okay. I want to go through some clarifications here. Now, we have essentially 3 entrances. Well, one is a fire access, so 2 on Getz Road. One is a fire access, and if you go back to that plan, yeah, okay. One is a fire access entrance, I believe. The southernmost on Getz Road is one that takes you in, but actually you have to go on Ellis Road to get in there, go past the office.
Correction, the southerly one in Getz is for the RV park only.
Okay,
It's not a fire access. That's the only way you could get to the RV park.
okay. So nothing else can go in that?
Nothing else could go there. And the one on Ellis is the only one you go for the storage.
Okay. But the office is also there, so you'd have to be able to go to the office in the
Correct.
Okay,
And the northerly one in Getz and the one in Case are for the gas station, in and out.
right.
Right in, right out, both of them.
Right. Clarify with Mr. Engineer that Case Road, obviously, well, no, let's start with Getz Road. The apartment, the Hunt Apartments, I think, very nice too. They've been there a long time, guys. There is, you know what I'm going to go, you know where I'm going with this, right? You can exit the Hunt Drive, and right now, you can pretty much go wherever you want to go. So we're proposing that a median be put there, so they have to turn right. Also, assumption that at LS, you would have a signal to make a U-turn.
So the beautiful thing about having a business on an arterial road is you have eyesight, you have a lot of potential. But as time goes on and more traffic hits Getz Road, just cumulative impacts of the city growing, that location is so close to Case Road, with or without Mr. Alabassi's project, we would want to restrict left outs at that location anyways, because that left turn onto Case Road going northbound, that queuing needs to be backed up. So with or without this project, we'd be looking at restricting this left turn movement at some point. So, they're coming in, let's try to put that median in and remove that left out for the apartment complex. So that's something the city's gonna be tasked with, to communicate that with them. But the beautiful thing about this project too, they're building Ellis Avenue to the south. So there'll be more connectivity for these, people that live in the apartments to get around the city.
And there's a signal proposed at Ellis and Getz Road there.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It's part of their conditions of approval.
Okay, so that means a median, would that be part, I don't know if that's part of the conditions to put a center median in the engineering conditions. Is that there?
Yes.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Fortunately for you, the city has to tell the residents.
Yeah, conditions 5D talk
Okay,
about Getz
okay,
Road.
you're right,
And then
5D.
5E, 5F.
Okay. Just checking, because, parish residents will drive over the median. We're crazy, okay? So you may have to put, nails in the ground. We're notorious for doing things. Not me, of course, yeah, right. But we're notorious for doing things, so you want to definitely stop that, because they'll drive over it. We'll just test it just for fun. We'll do it. But, okay, so that needs to be stopped. You can probably go down to Ellis and probably be able to do a U-turn to go back. Because in order to get in the gas station, because you're cutting off that whole apartment complex, they'd have to go there or go right down to Paris Ball and go back north. Now, that's one reasonable direction. But if you wanted to go to the gas station, you'd have to go south and just come around. Obviously, we'd have to have a U-turn probability. We're not talking about thousands of people coming out of the hunt, but at least, that is a business, and it would be something that would at least benefit them. And they can go Ellis Boulevard. And at Ellis intersection, with Case is a signal. So they can turn left there and go west.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, yeah, we could look into making the signal at Getz and Ellis a U-turn for the southbound
okay.
movement. So people could get into the gas station, people from the apartments could
Right.
go up north. But again, everyone exiting the apartments would have to get to that intersection of Getz and Ellis.
Yeah.
And then make their right, left through, or make the U-turn at that point.
Okay.
But again, this is just a cumulative effect, and over time, I mean, I'm sure the applicant would want full access at every driveway, but
I know, yeah.
being along 3 arterials and being that close to major intersections, it's restricted to right in, right out.
And really, Case Road gets really narrow there. It really gets to be, nothing is bad. It's just if you turn, and you know more than anyone else because you live down there, just turning left and turning right at Case Road is not that bad now, but I think Ellis Avenue opening up as an arterial, 94 feet or 120, whatever that, would make a big difference. Now, if you go Ellis Avenue, you still can turn left to go Case Road or turn right to go down Case Road. And we're not even going to talk about the Redlands intersection. There's not sometime in the near future. But the idea is that I want, if we did approve this, we'd want access to it from different directions as long as it's not taking the residents way out. Or if you're coming the other direction, you can come south and still go in from Ellis. Well, no, you'd have to take a U-turn to go back up. So even if you come down Ellis Road, you could still get in there, but you'd have to go south, make a U-turn, and go back up. So there's still a way to get into the gas station from those residents. Not a whole lot to the west, but I mean, there's enough people there. Okay, that was one of the major questions. The other thing too, I think you might have answered this already, but there are trees obviously on Ellis Avenue, and I don't know if there's poles still there, electric poles. So obviously, I know who you want to do it. But the idea is that they've been there for years. I don't know why, but they're still, probably if it was a farming or something, there was a windbreak. I'm assuming it's a windbreak. Nobody does farming down there in maybe 60, 70 years. So, but I was just, that's something that would have to be literally considered to be removed. Because, I mean, there's nothing now. And you see planes flying right there. And so
Do you
this
want to
building
hear
is...
the quick story on that? Do you want to hear a quick story on
Sure.
those? Hopefully, we get the project approved tonight, and everybody's waiting for the approval of this project because those poles, Brad knows well, are part of the IDI project. They're going to get undergrounded, and we cannot underground them. We cannot cut the trees because if you cut the trees, the poles become exposed for aircraft to hit them. So I'm hoping in the next 3 months, actually, we're trying to meet the April 17 condition that council put out to open up a portion of Alice. Those trees should be down and the poles will be undergrounded. That's the goal. But it's in the works, it's approved by the city.
Okay. It's been there for years, guys. Even before I got here 36 years ago, it's been there. So I mean, not that we hate trees, but come on, it's progress, let's put it that way, progress, okay. I think, I think the question is, I'm just stalling for you because I know you got a few jacks, so our architect here. So, all yours.
I don't, right now I only have about one, so I don't have much to say about the architecture of the building. So my only concern is with birds and the maintenance of the property. I know you take care of your other properties and they're relatively clean at majority of all times. But my concern is, especially with the airport, birds, pigeons, being around. So I don't know if there's not much in there besides one note that says that the water must be drained within 48 hours. But elsewhere, birds and pigeons will, and other animals will be scavenging for foods and stuff. So I don't know if there's anything we can add into there to request a routine maintenance or visual check, and if pigeons or anything are landing on the building, something to deter them.
There is a condition of approval from the Riverside County Airport Land Use Commission, number 60B3, which prohibit specific uses on the site, and one of them is a large concentration of birds that could otherwise affect the air navigation within the area. So they are limited on what can be done on the property, so they have to maintain the property to be able to comply with ALUC's conditions of approval, so.
Yeah, so, but if there are an abundance of birds landing on top of the buildings or top of the aprons, is there something he could always put the spikes or whatever else, but that's somewhat unsightly. There's the electric wire. I'm just wondering if there's something in there that if it becomes a problem, that that he needs to do something to deter the birds from being there.
You could add a condition that's within your purview. I just wanted to let you know that the Airport Land Use Commission already included a condition prohibiting any use that would trigger the overconcentration of birds on site.
Well, the design itself and the storage and the convenience store prohibits that, but if by chance, if there's birds that like the design of the building and wants to
Is your concern from the aircraft perspective?
level, yeah.
That's what ALUC, we went to twice, me and Corinne, to the ALUC meeting.
I just-
And they're really very concerned about birds. First of all, Paris, I don't think we have an issue with birds.
Not yet.
But they have restricted the landscape, so the certain trees that attract birds.
Yep.
And the WQMP, you can't just have open basins for WQMP. So there's restriction to discourage birds. You know, nowadays you can't shoot them, you can't hunt them, so.
I'm not saying that something has to be done now. I'm saying if it does become an evident problem in the future where there's a mass gathering of birds or quite a bit, then something then has to be done. That's all I would think I would like to put in there. So it's just as a precaution in the future.
We'll be ready to do whatever the city has for us, but we do have weekly landscape and maintenance and checkup on the properties. As you see, all my properties in Paris. So
Yeah, I
we'll be
mean,
happy to work with staff if there's anything that could be developed.
It's a lot of the detractors of pigeons and stuff is they like to feed on droppings and French fries and all that stuff. So, but I mean, like I said, your locations are pretty cleanly, so I'm not too worried about it. But I think it's something more of a precaution for safety of everybody.
Absolutely.
To piggyback on, and not going to belabor, I think there's two examples in Paris, and you have to really live here to know. One of them is one of the worst is EMWD. When you have rains, they have water sitting there, and they complain about us. I think I need to go the other direction because there's every kind of bird in that water, and it sits there. As you see off Case Road, as you know what I'm talking about, and they do nothing about it, and this is EMWD, right? Then, obviously, we have on Paris Boulevard, Remote Expressway, east of that, I think it's a Shell car wash. It's the second leg Paris. So I think the real question is drainage. So the drainage is probably what it's referring to, not so much that, but drainage, water will attract. So it's not so much that wholesome water and not attract birds. I think it's in essence, would there be those concrete like you do with industrial? You have the concrete that would drain into somewhere. I'm not sure where this would drain into, but in the water quality basin just can't be. You have to have something that absorb that water, and it would go into pipe somewhere. So that's the question. You don't want water sitting there. Where would it drain to? Getz Road, Case Road.
Right, so they have a water quality basin on site, and then that water would find its way to a storm system along Ellis Avenue.
Okay.
Actually, if I may add to that, the public work contract I'm doing now for the city, we installed a new pipe from San Jacinto River all the way. We're gonna connect it to Getz Road, bunch of catch basins. If you drive by Ellis, which was always dirt road, there's been an open channel that collects nothing but mosquitoes and birds. That's gonna go away. So with this project, adding the storm drain system, that we're gonna capture all the water from Getz, it goes all the way straight into pipe, 48-inch pipe, all the way to San Jacinto. So we are eliminating part of the problem that exists now. So it will be all in pipes.
I think that's more what you're alluding to, because the water will, it always does, attract birds, and of course it's an airport vicinity, so that becomes a concern. Even up north, you can't have any lakes or anything, but that would be the concern, you know. I think Harvest could have let a lake, but that's not the project. No excuses for that one. But anyway, I think that's probably more alluding to that. Obviously, you put signs, but if water does not drain out in an adequate period of time, you have the remote expressway, Northwestport, where it becomes a lake. I can go swimming in there. That's how deep it is. I mean, it's really bad, guys. And that's what trying to avoid, because there's no drainage, because there's no development. So, you know, but anyway, I think that's more what, you know. And it is in 60 E, the bottom paragraph, at least some allusion to it. So would you want more wording in 60 E? Because it says that 48 hours and not attract birds and proper maintenance is necessary to avoid.
That's the part I read. My concern is if it does become a problem in the future where the birds are hanging out on the eaves and stuff like that, and in abundance, then something can be done at a later phase if it's more of an issue. So yeah, adding a condition of approval would be okay with me.
You can certainly add a condition of approval requiring the applicant to properly maintain the property to avoid overconcentration of birds.
We'll send them to EMWD, like Commissioner Hammond said. There's a lot of birds there. I go by every day.
Okay?
I wanted to possibly add in a condition of approval that in the event of an ownership change with the self-storage facility in the event that this is approved today, that the architecture and the color scheme remains as was approved in today's meeting. But I didn't know if I should say that for discussion.
The self-storage is cinder block. It's not something you're going to be painting, so. And if anybody wants to paint it in the future, they're supposed to get a permit from planning, so, but I'm okay with that because we don't intend to do that.
Okay. That was really my last question.
And just for clarification, the conditional use permit runs with the land, and any other property owner would have to comply with the conditions of approval. We also have condition of approval number 9, which reads to the conformance of the approved plans, that the development needs to be consistent with the approved plans as approved by the Planning Commission on today's meeting.
Thank you, that helps a lot.
Okay. Just a basic question. I think you would be operating the Beyond Mart because it's kind of a chain. So you would be operating it, or would someone be operating if we chose it?
We actually just switched the one on Ethanok, if you're familiar with our Shell station there that you approved years ago. A few months ago, we converted to Beyond. That was our first one. And we converted the one in the county Riverside on Winchester Road and Highway 74 Beyond. That's the second one. And the one coming up in a minute in front of you, we're building one at the DECA property, is the third Beyond. This will be our fourth. So yes, we'll be operating it.
Okay, so it's franchised out that you can, okay.
Correct.
Oh, I didn't realize, okay. That's it for me. Okay, we close public hearing and go to public comment. Is there any public comment on this particular agenda item? And if one has public comment, they're welcome to come forward to the podium and address the Planning Commission for 3 minutes. And state your name. Anyone in the public, I know it's one family, anyone in the public wishing to address the planning commission on this particular agenda item? Seeing none, we close the public comment portion and come to the planning commission for any discussion now, analysis.
I know that this particular project is zoned under Employment Plaza, which I really would have loved to see get built out and see what the potential of that zoning would have been. But I understand with the restrictions and regulations of ALUC, it's just completely impossible to fulfill that zoning. So what's presented today, I think it's possibly the best option for what we can do there. It's not a warehouse or anything. So, and I love the architecture of it as far as the coloring and the type of material that's being used. I love the warm tones that are being used. I feel like it's going to be timeless and modern for many decades. I appreciate the applicant's willingness to give us 21% landscaping, and also the 2 signalized intersections on Ellis Avenue, which is something that's definitely needed for that area, and it's going to improve circulation on the south side of Paris. So I do appreciate that the applicant is bringing that to this project. The only condition I want to add is the sidewalk, landscape, parkway. If that's something that we can add, I have no issues with this project, and that's it.
I want to reiterate, I recognize the limitations, and I agree that this is one of probably the best use that this little triangular, difficult piece of land could have been. I really appreciate you bringing us, like he said, not a warehouse, and I think this is a really, really great usage of that land. Again, not a condition of approval or anything. I know you are very much under a lot of scrutiny with ALUC. If at all those plants could be moved towards more California native, I would absolutely love that, but it's not like a condition of approval. I agree. I really like the architecture as well. Thank you for not going bright orange or similar colors. I think that was my primary concern, is that some storage facilities tend to have some really loud colors, and I really enjoy the color scheme as presented today. Beyond that, I don't have any concerns. I like this project. I think you've done the most with what you have had to work with, and I like it. So thank you.
Yeah, I understand the limitations of the site in using the storage and facility, and the convenience store with gas station is well suited for the space. So I think it's well suited, will be well received, and don't have much of anything bad to say about it at all. And it will serve the community well, especially with the new additions of all the new construction going down on the south side. So it'll be well suited, and architects did a good job, so no problem.
Yes, thank you for the presentation, staff and developer who I've known a long time. We both got great hairs after all that, right? And I appreciate, you got some future commissioners there, hopefully. One of the things, too, I think that corner has been for years, even before you got there, Jack, has been basically nothing going on but the trees and the poles. I mean, that was basically it. And there's not a whole lot you can do. And I think Beyond Mart is a known commodity. That's one thing. You know, this is something in that area, there's absolutely nothing else. You'd have to go way over to 7-Eleven, way over to Union 76 for a gas station, and it serves the community at that corner that is reasonable. And it's not a budding residential. There's a lot of space in those 100 apartments. They're well maintained. They're probably back in the 60s, 70s, but they're well maintained, so there's still a buffer there. So there wouldn't be anything, certainly I could care less about CR&R. I mean, you need a buffer from them, right? But, and I've been in that plant too. But I think that's not really an issue. I think one of the things, considerations, I'll bring it up in amendments, is some traffic signals really what tells us. because you have to have some traffic, and allow the residents there, because none of them have any complaints, to be able to come and make that U-turn would make a big difference, because residents tend to complain about small things, and why the commission didn't say something, well, we're saying something. Okay, so going down to Ellis and coming back up, which I do a lot in that area. If I go down, I'll just turn left and go up. That street is not really a big deal. So there's really no problems. There wasn't from the beginning. I know the hassle was trying to get this Department of Aviation, whatever that was, with Caltrans and FAA and all these other ones to sign off. It's just bureaucratic red tape. That's all it is. But they all have to have positions. And I used to work for government. I can say this. Everybody has to have a position, so we have to do something. Sorry, but come kid me. I'm retired. I don't care. But that's what happened. So we got through that hurdle, and I think that was the major concern, was just getting through that hurdle. So I'm done. I think the car wash, the colors, the scheme, the landscaping, and I'll mention that stuff should we decide to go on through. But I think I'm fine with it. You know, that's really heavy material there too. I barely hold on to it. But quality, and we know you do quality stuff in the city, so I don't even have a problem with that. You know, there's a whole bunch of people. No. You're not going to get that because you know the quality project. So when you have quality, this is what happens. You know, unless there are any other questions. Okay. Let me read this. Since it's brief, I'll just go on and read it. Why not? And then we'll go through the amendments, which I'll get help with. Anything else, Brad? I think I covered it all, right? Okay. And of course, I'm going to miss something. So, you know, adopt resolution 26. And thank you, Mr. Evans. We appreciate it. Okay. It went easy on you tonight. We're not going to do that again, okay? Adopt resolution 26-01, adopting mitigated negative declaration 2407 and the mitigation monitoring and reporting program. And approve conditional use permit 24-05060 and development plan review 24-00001. Facilitate the construction of a 138,672 square foot self-storage facility, a 5,974 square foot convenience store beyond Food Mart, with a drive-through and an auxiliary vehicle fueling station, and a 1,667 square foot automated car wash based on the findings contained herein and subject to condition of approval. And we have a few corrections. Condition number 46. I think we had to delete North Paris and just say Community Facilities District, or appropriate, whatever the wording is, that will suffice, district. Engineering condition number 5C, full access, as opposed to what it states now, to red line that out, and have full access, right?
Chair Hammond, before you move past condition of approval number 46, there was another change on that one
And that one?
that our planning manager had mentioned regarding the timing of annexation.
Oh, okay.
So as she had
Oh,
stated
building
earlier,
permit, yeah.
prior to grading permit, building permit, or
Okay.
final map recordation, whichever occurs first.
It tells you I can't read my own writing, right? Okay. And your proposal that landscaping be considered on Case and Ellis Road to increase the, at a parkway.
And for Commissioner Lopez and
Mm-hmm.
Chair Hammond, I just want to get clarification. Is that a formal condition of approval, or is that work with staff and that kind of thing?
Work with engineering if it's applicable.
Engineering staff, informal, okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Lopez, so I did reread our conditions 5E and 5F. We have 6-foot wide sidewalk located at property line for Ellis Avenue and Case Road. And, you know, you've made these comments in the past, and we made sure that condition was in there per your previous comments on previous projects. So it's already in there.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
No problem.
And that was included Case and Ellis, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Getz Road, though, the sidewalk would remain at the curb and gutter, just because it's already in place. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing too, I think, was ensure in engineering that there's a center median on Getz Road to prevent left out, and left turn in, okay, on Getz Road. But I think the median, I'm not sure if the median was there to
Yeah, so 5D for Getz Road, if you look at the second bullet down
Yeah.
in the engineering, it's stating a 14-foot wide raised median, hardscape median shall be installed. The median shall restrict left outs from the property to the west, which would be the apartment complex.
Okay, so, yeah, so we don't have to mention that, just from the property to the west.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Also, Commissioner Menez had mentioned this is not a condition of approval, that work with staff considering use of California native plants for that area, because we know, I don't, just like any other, but the California native is one of the things that's always mentioned, that using California native plants. I'm not sure if Public Works does that, mentions that, but I don't remember seeing it. But California native plants is one of those things that, I should say Paris, the desert, right? So at least look into that. I don't think there's that to be specific, but that's just an administrative thing. I think I covered. Yeah, I think. It was something about requirement number 6, but that's if a new ownership came, and that's standard language. If new ownership took over, that they would have to adhere to whatever conditions. And I'm not looking at number 6. I think it was number 6 that you'd mentioned.
Yeah, I think we agreed to just leave it there.
Right.
As opposed to removing it,
yeah.
just to make sure that all the conditions of approval required by the FAA are satisfied.
Okay. In the event that the owner would change, which I doubt, but, okay, wow, things happen. Okay, did I catch it all? I think I did.
So for number 9, which Commissioner Menez mentioned, I just want to get clarification that that's just, that's not formally a change to the condition of approval in regards to maintaining the current color scheme. It's just a informal kind of directive, or do you want to add that to condition number 9 and say it must keep the current color scheme?
I was under the impression that it was already covered with the language as is, but if it's not, then yes, I would like to add it. But if it is already covered, then it's fine.
Yeah, I believe it is. It reads, development of the project site, building elevations, and conceptual landscape plan shall conform substantially to the plans approved by the Planning Commission on March 4, 2026.
That sounds sufficient to me.
Thank you.
It says any deviation shall require appropriate planning division consideration. So you're okay with that? Okay.
Yes.
And then we had the condition of approval for Chair Hammond, the condition of approval about maintaining the property to avoid a concentration of birds. Did you mention that one? And I would add to the satisfaction of the planning division for that one.
Additional, or just add the wording to? What
Well,
number?
that
40?
condition that was being
It
referenced,
does mention birds, and it does mention,
that was an ALUC condition though, so we wouldn't change their condition.
right, right.
But we could add our own condition that says, maintain the property so as to avoid a concentration of birds to the satisfaction of the planning division, something like that.
Something like.
Be like a
something
new
that's-
condition that would be added to the end of the planning division conditions.
That would be
Okay.
number,
So I think it would need to be number 55 and then renumber the rest after that unless our planning manager has
Right,
a different
it should
take.
be under operational conditions.
which number would that?
Operational conditions start at 51, so it
Yeah.
could be 55, and then the remaining conditions will be renumbered.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense, okay. I think I covered as much as I could take. Okay, okay. And with that, we're looking for a motion to adopt this project. Okay, Vice Chair Shively has moved and seconded by Commissioner Lopez.
Commissioner Menez,
Yes?
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner, Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With a vote 5-0 and 1 absent, this motion is approved.
4-0.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Okay. And with that, we move on to Planning Commission agenda, item 6B, conditional use permit. And I'm going to read this. Conditional use permit 25-00010 and public convenience and necessity determination 26-00001, a proposal to allow an alcohol license type 20 off sale beer and wine for off-site consumption at an approved, not yet constructed 6,650 square foot convenience store with a fueling station and car wash on 1.68 acres within an over-concentrated census tract located at 3945 Ramona Expressway on the southwest corner of Ramona Expressway and Webster Avenue in the commercial zone of the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan. The applicant, Corinne Mustad, requested action, I only read it once, is adopt resolution number 26-06, finding that the project was previously evaluated in the Certified Environmental Impact Report in accordance with CEQA guidelines sections 15162, that no additional environmental review is required, and that the project is exempt from further CEQA review pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15301, existing facilities, and approved conditional use permit 25-00010 and public convenience or necessity determination 26-00001 to allow a type 20 alcohol license off sale beer and wine for off-site consumption at the approved, not yet not constructed convenience store, subject to findings and conditions of approval set forth in resolution. Is there any ex parte communication, any ad hoc committee, or site visits?
I drive near the site, by the site, quite frequently.
Okay. Drive by quite a bit. Very familiar. Thank you. All yours.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Planning Commissioners. My name is Monica Carranza, and today I will be presenting the alcohol license type 20 for off-sale of beer and wine for Beyond Mart. So a little bit of background. In 2023, the City Council approved a conditional use permit to develop the project site with a convenience store, a fueling station, and a car wash as part of the shopping center for the Ramona Gateway DECA project, which is currently under construction. The project site is located at the southwest corner of Ramona Expressway and Webster Avenue. It's currently surrounded, uses include vacancy to the north with the proposed commercial development, the Paris Gateway. To the east, we have a vacant entitled for an vacant parcel entitled for an industrial development. To the south, we have the industrial development accompanied with the DECA project. And to the west is the commercial shopping centers with Starbucks as part of the DECA project as well. The land use for this project site is in the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan in the commercial zone, which does allow for alcohol sales of off-site consumption with the CUP. As you can see here, these are the existing conditions of the project. You have a view facing southeast along Ramona Expressway. You also have another view at the corner of Ramona Expressway and Webster looking onto the project site. The site is located on Census Tract 426.25, which according to the California Department of Alcohol, Beverage, and Control, ABC, it allows for a maximum of 3 off-site licenses. Currently, there are 12 licenses in the census tract, which means there is an over-concentration of ABC alcohol licenses. Per Paris Municipal Code, Section 19.54, an over-concentration requires a determination of public convenience or necessity approved by Planning Commission. The proposed type 20 will add a license, an additional license for type 20, adding the number to 13 licenses. The concentration of ABC licenses are along Paris Boulevard, as you can see on this map, and to the south of the tract where all the commercial shopping centers are located. The project was routed to the Sheriff's Department, and they had no comments or concerns regarding the proposed project. The alcohol sales shall comply with the distance requirements as required per section 19.65. As you can see here, there is a 1,000-foot radius for sensitive uses such as schools. The project site complies with that. The closest sensitive receptor is 1,500 feet, which is at Valverde High School to the south. It also has a requirement for a half-a-mile radius from any existing approved mini-mart service station. However, the code does allow or exempt the distance requirement, such as that mini-mart service station close proximity, as long as it complies with the findings on that chapter. So the location shall not impact sensitive receptors. The traffic increase will not create potential hazards. The establishment will not enforce any issues with police, and the development shall conform to all code required. The 1.68 acres project site was approved and will be developed with the following. It will have a car wash, a convenience store, and a fuel canopy. Access to the site will be along Ramona Expressway and Webster Avenue. Once constructed, so once constructed, alcohol items will be located as shown on the floor plan. We will have wine, and the wine will be displayed along this red area, and the beer will be in the coolers on this area right here. In total, the wine will account for 1% of the sales floor area and 6.3% of the floor sales area, totaling 7.3. Alcohol sales are limited to 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. per ABC. The site will have security cameras, and the applicant will provide additional training and safety to the employees that will be on site. The project was previously evaluated in the original CEQA Environmental Impact Report in accordance with the CEQA guidelines under section 15162. That no additional environmental review is required because they're not proposing any modifications to the site. Additionally, the project is categorically exempt from the California CEQA guidelines pursuant to section 15301 of existing facilities, as it involves negligible or no expansion of the use without no purpose of modifying the site. The project was noticed to the required 300 feet residents in the area. No comments were received. To conclude, staff recommends Planning Commission adopt the approval of this project based on the resolution and the determination for public convenience or necessity, allowing the convenience store beyond Food Mart in an alcohol license type 20 for the sales of beer and wine of off-site consumption, based on the findings here mentioned and on the resolution and conditions of approval. This concludes staff presentation. It's open to any questions you might have. The applicant is here as well if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It says the applicant is Corinne Mustad, but I take it. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Okay. At this time, I'm sure you do, but the applicant have any presentation that you'd like to make at this time?
Corinne is offended. She does all the work, and I told her this one, she could put her name on it. But this is more of an operational issue, actually. It's for my wife. Just a quick comment on the overconcentration. We inherited this project from DECA, so I wasn't involved in it. And typically, they would include beer and wine when they submit. Like the planner said, most of the existing licenses on Paris Boulevard, so they really don't impact us. And this commission, 2 weeks ago, or last month, I think it was, approved one more gas station across the street, Maverick, that was going to have beer and wine. The applicant didn't like that. He wanted 2 of them. And luckily, council shut it down. So there goes that license. So having one more here should not really impact much. But I appreciate you approving this because really having the license is a must. It's a necessity. Nobody's going to drive from Temecula to come buy beer from my gas station. But if somebody stops, they really want to have that beer and wine. We have one station out of the 9 we own in Loma Linda that do not have beer and wine. And our sales are about 30 to 40, maybe even 50% less than our other sites. Because not having the beer and wine will impact the performance of that facility. Thank you, and if you have any question, I'll be happy to answer it.
Oh, sure.
I think my wife now is offended. She wants to say something.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth. I want to let you know that since 1998, we've been operating gas stations. Right now, we have 3 21s, which is hard liquor off-site, and we have 5 20s already. We have never had a violation in all those years, knock on wood. I will not sell to minors. We usually close, we try to close and lock our coolers by 10 p.m. And then we ID the customer first before we get the beer out for them. Thank you.
And correction to Monica, it's 6 a.m., 2 a.m., not 6 a.m. You cannot sell after 2 a.m., so.
Yeah,
No, 6 a.m. in the morning, you cannot sell past 2 a.m., yes. So 2 a.m. in the morning, we shut down selling any alcohol. I think your presentation showed 6 by mistake.
Yeah, you have to 2 a.m. Some states it might change to 3, but, okay. Okay, any questions? Go for it.
I think it was stated, I think she said 6 to 6, but it's in the document, it's 6 to 2 a.m.
Yeah, I just had one clarifying question. So I know the sheriff's department didn't have any comments or concerns, but in ABC, just to make sure, ABC doesn't have any problems issuing this license so long as the commission is okay with it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Just a quick question. Take about 1,000 radius. There are residents on Webster by your station, other stations. So that's beyond the 1,000 feet from
Oh.
this?
Sensitive receptors count as parks, schools, or churches,
Okay.
not residential units.
You're
yes.
kidding.
For our code, that's what sensitive receptors are.
I might have to change that. Yeah, I know. For licensing, well, you're going to be next to residents, you might have an issue. But, okay, I was just wondering, because sensitive receptors and other things are considered residents, but not for this, okay. So if you live next to it, you can drink all you want to, who cares? That's very interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is, that was the only question, basically. I think we, initially, I don't know, there was a lot of things planned for that, on that south side, but I figured a gas station would be one of those things that would be a consideration, so, okay. I wasn't sure, but, okay. But I thought, I don't know why I didn't think sensitive receptors if you go north of Webster, but, okay. Other than that, there's not much to say. I think the hours, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Okay. And another it's a Beyond Mart, so it's a trade, something well known. And I think car wash and the other things. No, I can see the diagram now. Okay. Okay. I think that's it for me, unless you guys have anything. There's really not much for this one. Okay. Requested action, obviously, is adopt resolution, 2026-06, finding that the project was previously evaluated, certified environmental impact report in accordance with CEQA guidelines 15162, that no additional environmental review is required, and that the project is exempt from further CEQA review pursuant to guidelines of 15301. Existing facilities. An approved conditional use permit 25-00010 and public convenience or necessity determination 26-00001 to allow a type 20 alcohol license off-sale beer and wine for off-site consumption at the approved yet not constructed convenience store subject to findings of approval set forth in the resolution. There were no additional amendments or additions to this. So do we have a motion to approve this project? Commissioner Lopez has moved it, seconded by Commissioner Menez.
Commissioner Menez,
Yes?
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Shively,
Yes.
Chair Hammond.
Yes.
With a vote 4-0, this motion is approved.
Thank you very much. It's been your night tonight. Huh? And we can drag it on if you want. Thank you so much. Okay. At this time, we move to item 7, public comments. Anyone wishing to address the planning commission regarding items not on the agenda may do so at this time. Please walk up to the podium and wait for the chairperson to recognize you. And each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the planning commission. I see a city employee out there. You can still talk if you want to. No, okay. Seeing none, we will close the public comment portion and move on to item 8, business items, in which there are no business items. We move on to item 9, commission updates and announcements.
I have no announcements. I just want to wish everyone a good night and a safe drive home.
I do have one quick announcement. I saw on the city marquee on my way here that the annual Pets on Parade will be. Oh, look at that. The 3rd annual Pets on Parade will be happening this Saturday at 10 a.m. I saw it and my heart skipped a beat. So if you go, look for me and my poor, scared Chihuahua Winston. Beyond that, I wanted to say happy almost spring. And kind of related to that, I wanted to maybe put it on the radar, or I know I harp a lot on bringing in more California natives, and I just wanted to maybe speak it out to, I don't know the exact process, but if we could somehow take a look at the city plant palette and maybe work to start moving things over. I know it's a really big ask, so I would definitely be able to, do a lot of the legwork and put a lot of the manpower into that. But I think it would be a really, really important thing to do, especially with our proximity to the San Jacinto watershed, Lake Paris. We have lots of land, and I think and lots of developments, great developments coming in that I think could really benefit from California natives. So I just wanted to put that on the radar, and again offer myself up as free labor, if that's an issue at all. And beyond that, just have a good night.
Well, you got me at free labor. Anytime you need to. Well, I was going to bring up the Pets on Parade, but she beat me to it. I do have a question for Patricia. When a commercial building decides to paint their exterior of the building, I'm sure it's administrative.
Yes.
I just want to see if the Paris Car Wash has applied for the administrative permit for that. I think it's 2131A North Paris Street, I think it is.
We can certainly look into that and get back to you.
The orange colored, they have a choice.
It's bright, but, it definitely catches eyes. But I just
Yeah.
want to make sure
Yeah.
they've done it properly.
If you,
Patricia doesn't look familiar with it, so.
oh,
I
you,
don't.
you
So
can't, you can't not miss it, yeah.
But we can certainly look into it and let you know if the appropriate approvals have been obtained. Not always do property owners know that when they change color, they have to come to the city for an administrative approval. So, but we'll look into that for sure.
Other than that, that's all I have.
Yes, thank you. And I appreciate, especially Monica, thank you, Monica, We were nice to you tonight. Okay, don't get used to it, right? We can be, we're in a good mood tonight, so that's okay. I should announce them again. I missed it last night, but I didn't bring the flyer. But every fourth Saturday, I think on D Street from 5 to 8 p.m. I missed it, but I was tired. I wouldn't even be able to walk there. But they have something over at on D Street. It's like a farmers market, open space, vendors, things like that. So I will be going in the future. But I think it's been advertised as the fourth Saturday. Second thing I did, I went to the technical center. And somebody was in there who recognized me. I said, "What's going on? Do you have a brochure?" He said, "Well, they're still working on things. I think, what is it? Procter & Gamble has some training courses going, but I'm trying to work on them. You know, if we have a flyer, we give it out. They're just not really ready completely for that yet." But the guy was sitting there, locked door. I told the planning commissioner, he still opened the door. I don't know why. Planning commissioner, you don't open the door. Why would you do that? But he did, so he let me in. So I'm going to be, you know how I bother people. I never bother you, Brad, right? But I said, you know, come on, what's going on? And you're going to see me again, so you might as well, you know. But it's a very beautiful center. We both visited. We know it's beautiful in there. So we want to, you know, where's the brochure? I'm just waiting. So they're still working on stuff like that. I think I did mention, there's two things I think bring up. You're talking about, I think it could be a session. Maybe even Public Works might be brought. There's three things. The session on native plants. I know the city probably has a landscaping planter that I know Public Works uses because they always tell us what plants to use and we ignore it. But I'm pretty sure they're going by something, so it might be something coincide with them and make a presentation and you can see if they work with that. But that would be a good presentation because we're going to have a lot of time. The other thing I think too is obviously an update on what's going on in the city. The Target is going crazy there. The City Park is going. People are begging when they go to. I don't know. How would I know? Go ask the city, you know. But they're asking questions, guys. They want this stuff. I'm not even talking about Harvest Landing are killing us with thousands of emails. Enough of those. They finally stopped. But I mean, people are interested. There's more people in the city. There's intersection issues that you might want to have a separate meeting on. But it's going to be a major issue for traffic. These people are expecting it. They're expecting it tomorrow. I said, that's not the way it works. Okay, it's called permits. No, we want it tomorrow. It's not going to happen like that. But you can't tell people that. To them, get it done, get it done. Okay, so I understand the excitement is there. All this stuff is here. We got projects coming in. But where these things are, there's a lot going on. Even the Busby thing, I think they're putting a net around it. Where are they at with this? So things like that. Where's Target going to open? When's the park going to open? When's this going to do? I will say the park, I think, is copied with that long mural. It's been kept clean. I haven't seen any graffiti on that one. Ferguson is another story. Somebody's always putting graffiti on the Ferguson warehouse thing. They can't help it. I guess it's open space. I'd put some traps in front, but that would be illegal. But, you know, there's somebody always doing something there. Lastly, you know where I'm going with this, right, Patricia? Little land use and zoning thing. One of these days we'll get to that one. I think would be very beneficial as we're going to the League of California next week. You know, I'd love to say City Paris has it, no one else does. But it might be important whenever there's time. Like you were volunteering yourself, we got it on record too. I already volunteered myself and we'll be done. So I think that's it. And now we move to the Director of Planning Manager's updates and announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to report that the landscaping along the Nuevo Street frontage at the Paris de Plaza is getting refurbished. So it was really good to see that. I know you've been asking for it for a while, and it's finally happening. So I want to say it may be tied to bringing Target to that center, but it's going to look beautiful. So we're looking forward to seeing that completed.
Finally.
We will also be bringing to you a projects update to give you, and not only you, but the community, an update on where projects are at, so they can have a better idea what's happening in Paris, because there's a lot happening in Paris right now. Thank you for your suggestion. You did go on record, so we will take your your free labor. We can work together, collaborate with other departments, because We have Public Works who, and engineering who also help with the off-site landscaping improvements. Planning does the on-site landscaping. So I think a collaboration between departments and your expertise is going to be greatly appreciated, and help in bringing more California native planting into the plant materials that we already have in our specific plans and the zoning code and other documents that we use for off-site landscaping. So thank you for that. And yes, I do have that in mind. So we will be working with you, Mr. Chairman, on bringing together a workshop for the Planning Commission on Planning 101.
See, I already volunteered my body. Now you have to volunteer yours. Okay.
As far as events go, we do have Take a Hike at Lake Paris on March 14th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And it's going to be a good 4-mile hike, so come prepared. With respect to upcoming meetings, on March 18th, we do have one project. We're going to be presenting to you a proposed banquet hall at an existing shopping center. And that's all I have to report.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, without further ado, unless you guys have anything, thank you, staff, the good work that you do, and that includes the attorney too. No, no, thank you, staff, thank you, IT. Yeah, that's why she came in and said, get off the board, okay. All I need is that look, right? I thought you were gonna sing for us, you're just gonna give me the look, right? Okay, okay. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to the public. We certainly look forward to that park opening, as there's a lot of progress being made over there. So there's a lot of excitement in Paris, guys. You know, things are happening, so we're going to hear about that, okay? With that, we have an adjournment. Just pick a name, because I can motion it. Anybody can second it. We're all going to agree, unless you're out of your mind. But we're all going to agree. And with that, we close. Thank you to the public.